Good morning. My talk this morning is probably not going to be funny, but I will tell you what, that reading from the Daily Word I know was a message for me, and you'll see why. So my talk today is broken glass. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. I refuse to be anxious about tomorrow or even the next minute. I know that God does provide for the fulfillment of his divine idea, and I am that divine idea. Charles Fillmore. And here's my writing on broken glass. Oh, how I remember so many times in my life I felt so broken. Would I ever be whole? I remember how I hated cloudy days. Would I ever be able to walk in the sunshine? I found cloudy days so depressing. The grayness of the outside reflected the graying of my soul. And then I changed. I began doing things to help myself. Most importantly, I connected with my spirit. That beautiful, wonderful spark given to me by my Creator. And of course, the same spark is within you. Bit by bit, the broken glass all came together to create the whole mosaic that represents me today. I am filled with gratitude. Thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon me. Thank you for opening me to receive them. So 2 years ago yesterday was the phone call that changed our family's life. That was the day our son took his life. So this has been a really, really, really tough weekend. And then to get this reading that talks all about it, I asked Amy if I could have it, and she gave it to me because I felt, oh my gosh, there's our son sending a message and letting us know that all is well. So when I think about broken glass, it was very interesting. I wrote a poem on Facebook. As you all know, that's what I love to do. Poetry is my language. And I wrote a poem yesterday on Facebook. And Sue, who was here for 30 years, she's my Facebook friend and commented. It was so nice to hear from her. And it was quite interesting because people would write such things. Oh, you're such an inspiration. You're so brave. You're so this, look how far you've come and all of that. And I think, what does it really mean, quote, to be brave? I mean, my granddaughter, our oldest granddaughter, when she was about 4, she said something one day. I think she had heard at preschool, and I love it. Grandma, you get what you get and don't throw a fit. So think about it. We get what we get, and our option is, how broken do I want to remain? Now, you lose a loved one. How many out in this audience have lost a loved one? So there is no one that is going to escape grief, loss, brokenness. How many of you have ever been to the Basilica in St. Louis? Anybody? That whole beautiful building is nothing but broken glass that has been put together in the most beautiful artwork. I mean, Europe holds nothing to that particular basilica. It is worth going just because I just go there for inspiration. It is so beautiful. And then downstairs in the little museum, they show the little pieces of glass. And like how Michelle was singing about the gold filling it, how the mosaics are made and it's all filled. And that's what makes it so beautiful. Well, this is kind of a little interesting story back to brokenness. So we break. We say, people die of broken hearts. And each time we lose a loved one, or we lose a job, or there's something we grieve about, there's a little crack, like Michelle's bowl. And I guess we can either fill it with gold, we can leave it open and bleed to death, or we can fill it with something really awful. But it's our option. We get to choose what to do with it. I couldn't remember, I was talking to Lisa in the office, and we couldn't remember the singer. But the song, I know it was a woman who sang it, "What doesn't kill me makes me stronger." Who was that? Does anybody know? Who was it? And when I think about that, isn't that the truth? If it doesn't kill you and you can get through it, you can become stronger, because I'm standing here 2 years later. The night I got that phone call, my response was, I want to go with him. I don't know how to do this. And I would scream to God every morning, there are no instructions. How do I do it? And if you ask me how did I do it, I don't know. I guess I didn't. It was the grace of God that gives you that desire to mend. Well, this is another little interesting part of the story. My other son, which lo and behold, how this ever happened, I don't know, but he attended a metaphysical fair. When I first got into metaphysics, my children thought I was crazy, as well as my brothers. My brothers still do, but my children get it. And my son went to this metaphysical fair, and he's not like a real prompt person. So he said, Mom, I bought you a gift there. And I think I got it like maybe 6 or 8 months later. And it's a glass heart, and it has like gold metal around it. And in it are all these little tiny amethyst crystals. And I had never put it on, and I went to put it on. It was shortly after our son passed away, and I put it on, and it fell off, and it broke. Now, the glass didn't break, but all the little crystals fell out. Well, I knew I could fix it because I make jewelry, and I found this wonderful glue that doesn't even kill you. It doesn't even have an odor, and it can cement anything together, so I knew I could fix it. But I couldn't find every one of the little crystals. But as I'm putting all the little crystals in, I'm going, oh my gosh, look at this. This heart broke. It's missing pieces. But look at all the pieces that are still there. It's still beautiful. And there are still a lot of crystals. And anybody that would see it would have no clue that it broke and lost crystals. And I thought, well, maybe I'm the same way. Maybe I could just say I have a crack in my heart, or I have a couple of broken pieces, but look at all of it that's still left and open for the love of other people. You know, like when you write something on Facebook, I mean, it's like everything in life. Facebook can be wonderful or it can be awful. I think it's wonderful because people have reached out to me from all over the country, friends from high school, I mean, all kinds of people, and they write such beautiful things. And during times of grief, that support from your community and your loved ones, it lifts us when we are broken. When we know that we need some glue to hold us together. And maybe that glue is love. Love from the universe. Maybe it's the love that we give out. Because the more love that we give out, we get back. So I think I told you, I speak every Sunday at different places, and I love it. This is my heart. This is my inspiration also, because when I do a talk, even though I'm not reading it, I do a lot of research on it, and that's my spiritual practice. And then when I share it, I don't care if someone says that's a good talk. What I care about is when someone says, wow, what you said today was something that I needed to hear. Like Amy, I mean, how in the world could that be the daily word for today, for me? And we had some other things happen. When at our son's celebration of life, they picked songs from his favorite band. One was the Grateful Dead, one was the Beatles, and the song was Strawberry Fields Forever. Well, we took our oldest granddaughter out for dinner the other night. She just graduated college, and that's this son's oldest daughter. And I said, Lucy, do you believe in signs? She goes, oh, Grandma, absolutely. So our son played the guitar until like the last year when he was just really, really down. And she said the night before graduation, I was walking and I found a guitar pick on the ground. I said, what'd you do with it? She goes, oh, I have it in my room. I mean, you know, I don't know how many times you guys have found a guitar pick. I never have. She found a guitar pick. And then she said, we went to this restaurant bar and I looked on the menu and there was a drink, Strawberry Fields Forever. Then, the night after she told us that we had been to dinner, we didn't watch the whole thing, but it was Stephen Colbert's Last Night on TV. And Paul McCartney was on, and he sang Strawberry Fields Forever. Now, yeah, it all could be coincidences, but to me, these are just, and then coming here today with this reading, it is like, no, our loved ones are with us. And then what that said about letting God enfold us, that saying from Isaiah where God will protect us like a mother protects a child. And I'm thinking, this isn't all coincidence. There's so much more. If you take the word nowhere and separate it, what is it? What does it say? Now here. I'm nowhere. No, I'm now here. I mean, there is no difference. There's so many words like that. If you take the word there, I'm there. Take the T off. What do you have? Here. I'm there and I'm here. I'm all of it. So, in this life, we are going to be broken sometimes. And it's funny because I feel like a fraud when people say, oh, you're such an inspiration. You give us all so much hope and so much this and so much that. And I'm thinking, no, I'm just kind of trying to gravitate through this life the best way I can with the grace of God. So, as I said, I speak every Sunday, and I think I've mentioned, but that was not enough. You know, when suffering a loss like that for me, it was not enough to just work one day a week. So I happened to be in the car, and I think I've told you this story, but again, I don't believe in coincidences. I'm in the car with a friend, and I said, oh, God, I need a job. And I was taking her to the mall, to the Apple store to get something fixed. I have never bought a thing at Loft in my life. For some reason, some unknown reason, I walked down and walked into that store, and a woman approached me and said, have you ever thought about selling retail? And I went, no, never until this moment. But I had just said, God, I need a job. And someone says, hey, have you ever, within the hour? So she goes, well, I want you to meet with my boss. I did, and I've been working there for over a year. That was amazing. So I decided this job can be my ministry also. Since the time I have been there, I have met at least 6 or 7 or 8 women. And I'm very open about it. Like I go, the reason I'm working here is we lost our son, and I had too much time on my hands to think. And they will say, oh my God, I know God sent me here today to see you because I lost my daughter, and today I am really suffering. And we were able to talk about it. And there was a young woman just about a month or so ago, and I was helping her find an outfit. And she was in the dressing room, and she goes, I'm just really depressed. I've gained so much weight. I said, honey, what's wrong? What are you depressed about? She goes, I just lost my son, and she began to cry. And I cried with her, and I held her, and we cried together. And I went, wow, this is how we do it. We help each other heal. because we all have wounds. And, well, I have one on my foot. That's why I'm wearing these shoes today. And when we have a wound, we have to take care of it so it can heal. And it'll heal, but it's going to scab over. Michelle, I think you said that in that bowl. Every scar becomes beautiful. It scabs over, but when that scab falls off, you have a scar. And we should show those scars because those scars are the marks of the life, almost like the rings on a tree that show how long that tree has been in existence. The more scars we have, the more life we've lived. The more mistakes we make, it means that's the more we do. Because if you don't want to make a mistake, stay in bed all day, never get up. But that would be a big mistake, wouldn't it? Because nothing will happen. Mistakes are good. Like when I'm working, and I've never worked a register, which they're not registers anymore. It's a whole computer. They're computer programs, and each option, is a different thing. So it's really learning like a whole system. And, I would say, oh my gosh, I love it when I make a mistake. And they just looked at me like, are you crazy? I said, well, that's how I learn. After I've done it twice, I realize what I did wrong. The third time, I have it in here, and I don't make that same mistake again. And as we go through grief, and we go through tough stuff, and we feel broken, I would bet that bowl that was fixed and inlaid with the gold was probably stronger once it was fixed than it was in the beginning. I broke my ankle about 20 years ago, and it was real interesting because the doctor said, you were very lucky. It was a real clean break. And he said, you know what? Those kinds of breaks make your bone stronger when it heals than it was before. Isn't that interesting? So what if we began to look at our breaks, at our sadnesses, at our grief, and we look at it a new way? Do we like it? Would I have chosen this? Absolutely not. But I have to know that in my life, if I would have chosen it differently, then that makes God wrong. And I don't believe that to be true. Because there are so many things, there are so many mysteries, there are so many things in this world. I can't even make a tiny rock. Can you? I mean, maybe we can, put some stuff together, but we can't start from scratch and make it. Go make a mountain. Go make a little tiny river. We can't do that. Or a tree, the seed had to come from somewhere. So when I look at the mysteries of life, who am I to question the Creator, the Master, the one who has the plan? And all I can hope for is that one day when I move on to my next adventure, maybe then I'll understand a little more of it and see things differently. Because when you're in an airplane and you look down, we're about that big, aren't we? And the houses are that big, and the cars are little tiny. They're not even like those little tiny Hot Wheels we used to get our kids. They're not that big. So when we put ourselves into that whole master plan, we truly are tiny, and we will break. And we can be fragile at times, but we can also come out super strong. So I want to go ahead and read my poem, Broken Glass. I am just a pile of broken pieces. For me, there are no releases, only pain, only sorrow, not a glimmer of hope for a better tomorrow. I look at you and see joy on your face. That could never be me. I do not have the strength to go through all that I need to do to become whole. I am sad life is bad. Then a miracle began to enfold me. I became bold, vulnerable, a glimpse of light here and there. Still darkness as night began to surround me. Then it happened, so very strange. I heard the voice of God. I know. I felt warm. I was wrapped in a cocoon of pink light. It was warm and cozy. I think it was love. In that moment, I began to feel whole, conscious of the depth of my soul. It gave me hope. It gave me peace. I thought I was simply a pile of broken glass, rubble, just a messy mass. Now I am a beautiful mosaic, a piece of art, ready to play my part on this stage of life. I am ready to go. Thank you, God. I love you so.